as a work from home consultant, remote worker, or digital nomad, we're going to be looking at a number of tips and tricks that you can implement to ensure business continuity even through the power outages or load shedding within your country. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Wait, what's the difference between load shedding and power outages? Of course, we asked the most reliable source.
Hey Google, what's the difference between load shedding and power cuts?
On the website iol.co.za, they say, load shedding is a planned and scheduled power interruption enforced by power utility Eskom, a controlled disruption to the power supply, whereas power outages are normally unplanned and happen sporadically within municipal power networks.
Load shedding was introduced into the South African economy back in 2007, which was over 15 years ago. However, it wasn't until recently, over the last couple of months, that it has gotten progressively worse. As load shedding was introduced as planned power outages, a schedule was developed to provide some certainty around when you could expect to have load shedding within your area, so that South Africans would be able to plan their lives around it. The way that this schedule was planned out for the South African economy is that it ranged from stage 1 to stage 8. Stage 1 being the least amount of power outages that you can expect within your area, and stage 8 being the most amount of load shedding that you can expect. Now, South Africa has really progressed in terms of tracking what stages they are in load shedding, where they have applications that are available for download onto your cell phone that will be able to tell you exactly what stage the country is in terms of load shedding, as well as when you can expect to have load shedding throughout the day. And these applications do also send you notifications an hour before to warn you that load shedding will be starting within your area. So what are my top 5 recommendations that I can make in terms of being a consultant working from home through load shedding or power cuts within your country? We are currently in stage 6 load shedding. Our power has just gone out. It is now 8 o'clock in the morning. It's only expected to come back on at around 12:30. So I'll take you along for the journey. My first recommendation that I can make as a remote consultant that I would suggest that you invest in is definitely your portable extended screens. Having the remote screens available to me anytime, firstly, it's very convenient for when I'm actually traveling between countries that I always have my split screens available. Secondly, when there are power cuts, these screens do plug into your laptop and utilize your laptop battery that won't be impacted by the expected power outages. My second recommendation that I can give you that I highly recommend, especially in terms of having an additional battery source available, is to purchase the Anchor portable battery. This is something that I really do recommend. I use it for everything. With this one battery source, you can power up your laptop fully charged. It is small enough and compact to actually travel around with you, especially if you are a digital nomad. My third recommendation that I can make to you as a remote consultant is to really invest in a UPS, especially if you are going to be working from home. A UPS is basically a power supply that will kick in immediately as soon as the electricity cuts out. I have invested in a UPS to plug into our fiber connection that will enable your household internet to continue running even when there is load shedding. A UPS is really ideal because it allows seamless integration as soon as the electricity is cut out. The UPS will kick in. That will not impact on your Teams calls, Zoom calls, or even cutting of your internet connection to your laptop. It is now 12:30 and the power has just come back on. I can expect that it will be going off again at around 4 o'clock, so stay tuned. The next recommendation that I can make to you that I have most definitely invested in, especially if you prefer to use a separate keyboard and mouse within your laptop, is to get a battery powered mouse. So the one that I currently use with my MacBook is a Microsoft mouse. It works great. It does take a battery and it has lasted for months and I use it every single day. It is also Bluetooth enabled, so it connects directly to my laptop and I don't need any additional connections or cables to connect into my computer. The keyboard that I chose to invest in is the Apple Magic Keyboard. I would highly recommend this keyboard, especially if you do use Apple product. Once the keyboard is fully charged, it does last a really long time. I think I only charge mine every couple of months. The last recommendation that I can give you from a consulting perspective, of course, us consultants cannot live without our coffee, which is one of the bigger adjustments that you would have to make, especially when there's a lot more load shedding within your country. So one of the recommendations that I can give you to really get your caffeine fix, even when there is no power, is one of two things. The first recommendation that I can make if you do have a gas stove is to utilize a whistle kettle that will enable you to still heat up your water and have an endless amount of coffee. However, if you do not own a gas stove, what you can also do is ensure that you've boiled your kettle before the planned power outages is expected to happen and fill it into a flask, that it is still hot enough to make an amazing cup of coffee. It is now 4 o'clock and the power has just gone off, and then again later this evening we'll be having a loss of power from midnight until 2:30 in the morning. Thanks guys for watching my channel, and as always, hit that subscribe button and we'll see you next time.